This is the PowerPoint that is in Schoology in Chapter 8. In order to actually have a budget, you need to keep track of your expenses. And so you might have different categories for the expenses that you incur every month. You might have utilities expenses for your home. You might have food, entertainment, clothing, rent, mortgage, car insurance, car payment. Those are all different categories that you might have in your monthly budget. And a lot of people use a monthly budget to track their expenses, to manage their money. Consider some of the places that you might spend money every week. We talked about a lot of examples today. The two that I thought of for a lot of our students would be the C-store. I know a lot of students go to the C-store right after lunch, or right after school, and get a soda or a bag of chips or anything. And what about in the lunchroom? You see a lot of students going through the line after all of the main meal has been served and getting an ice cream sandwich or a cookie, or they serve some different other snack items. So how much money do you spend there every week? And if you were doing that weekly, you could determine how much you're spending in a year by multiplying that number times 52. That's the number of weeks in a year. So if I was spending $10 a week, in 52 weeks, I would have spent $520 by taking $10 a week times 52 weeks in a year. So again, it can be very costly to spend money in places like that every day or even every week. We look at example 1 is on page 337. And there is a chart that Amy tracked some of her expenses. And so to calculate how much Amy has spent at the drink machine, you need to look at that chart and identify how much did it cost her every time she went to the drink machine, and how many times that week did she go there. So multiply the amount that she spent by the number of times she went to the machine. So it was $2, and she went to the drink machine 7 times. So in 1 week, she spent $14 on pop. If she spends that much every week for the whole year, how much will she spend? If I wanted to calculate that number, I would take $14, which is the amount she spent in 1 week, times the number of weeks there are in 1 year, which would be 52. And then I could see how much she spent for the whole year. In our next example, if Amy buys gas once a week and she spends an average of $35, how much will she spend in a year on gas? So again, if she is spending $35, and we know that there are 52 weeks in a year, I could take 35 times 52 and find out that Amy is spending $1,820 for a year in gas. The second question, this is the check your understanding on page 337. If I want to know how much money did Amy spend the first week in June, I need to add all of those numbers in the amount column. So I would add lunch with friends on June 1st. I would add drink machine on June 1st. I would total that entire column. If you add that amount column Amy spent $87.22. So again, if you were to add all of the numbers in the amount column in that chart on page 337, you would know that she spent $87.22. That's another good way to track expenses. Keep track of your receipts for 1 week and see where you spend your money. Now we're looking at the average monthly expenses. So again, you might use categories for your budget. You might have housing, utilities, food, entertainment, drink, fuel. So if you would like to know how much you spend on average every month on these items, you take the total of those expenses divided by the number of months. My example in class today included, if I wanted to know the average that I spent on my utility bill, so January might have been $230. If my February utility bill is $260 and my March bill is $190, first I need to know the total of these 3 months. So I'm going to add $230 plus $260 plus $190. I come up with a total of $680. That's for all of the bills. But if I want to know my average monthly expense, I would divide this total by the number of months I had. So January, February, March, that's 3 months. So 680 divided by 3 equals $226.67. That is the average that I spent on in each month. In example 2, there is a chart on page 338 for Consuelo. They'll also use this chart for Consuelo in the Check Your Understanding. So find the average amount that Consuelo spends each month. Before I can do that, I need to find the total expenses of each month. And this problem is walked out step by step on page 338 underneath solution. So first I need to total all of the expenses for January. Then I need to total all of the expenses for February and all of the expenses for March. These will now be added together. Once I add these 3 totals together, then I will divide the total of all expenses by 3. Again, why do I choose 3? Because that is the number of months that she has tracked expenses for in that chart. So you'll see that they totaled those 3 months to be $5,574.55, and divided by 3, that number is $1,858.18. So that is the average amount of money that Consuelo spent every month. Further down, what is her average monthly expense for food? How am I going to figure her average monthly expense for food? I'm going to add the amount that she spent on food for all 3 months. So in January, she spent $240.26. In February, she spent $225.14. And in March, she spent $238.29. So how much total did she spend is the first step. So add those 3 months together. after you have added them, you will come up with $703.69. Now, to find the average that she spent each month, divide your answer by 3. Again, that is the number of months that she tracked her expenses. So Consuelo spent an average of $234.56 each month. The next question says, what is Consuelo's average monthly expense for health care? In January, her health care cost $0. It didn't cost her anything. In February, it cost $105, and in March, it cost $22.18. A question we had today was, well, if she didn't spend anything in January, does that count? Yes, it does. We're averaging over a 3-month period. So, even though she didn't spend anything in January, you will still divide your answer by 3. So, for those 3 months, she spent $127.18. Divide that number by 3, the number of months, and you will see that her average each month was $42.39. The last part of section 1 talks about bills that you might only pay once a year or even twice a year. If you pay a bill twice a year, it would be what we call semi-annual. If you pay your bill 4 times each year, we would consider that quarterly. So there are 4 quarters in a year. When something is semi-annual, it would be considered twice a year. And annually means you pay it once a year, and of course monthly meaning you pay it every single month. So, example 3 on page 339 says that Vince's annual homeowner's insurance is $1,050. How much does he need to save each month in order to save enough to pay all of that at once? So if I want to know how much he needs to save every month, I'm going to take the total bill, $1,050, and I'm going to divide it by the number of months. This is an annual premium, so he pays it once for 12 months. So $1,050 divided by 12 means that Vince needs to save $87.50. If you look at the Check Your Understanding on 339, they also have some additional questions for Vince. Vince's auto insurance premium is $850 per year. So what amount should he save each month? Again, what process are we going to go through? This is an annual premium. It says per year. So what amount should he save to be prepared for that? $850 divided by the number of months, which is a year, so that's 12 months. And what do you come up with? You will find he needs to save $70.83 every month. And the last one, Vince's life insurance policy has a semi-annual premium of $420. We want to know what is the average monthly expense for his life insurance. How many times do we pay a semi-annual premium? We pay it twice. So if you pay something twice per year, how many months are in that section? There are 6 months. So I need to take $420 divided by 6 to find the semi-annual amount paid. I will find that if I divide 420 by 6, that Vince needs to save $70 for each month. That will allow him to save the correct amount of money for his life insurance premium that is paid semi-annually. Again, you can find this PowerPoint that I showed. If it's hard to see in the video, you can find this PowerPoint in Schoology in Consumer Math in Chapter 8.